Oh, what is up everyone, I am Demon Cringe, and today I wanted to talk to you about something. So, yesterday I remembered something. I remembered a cartoon from my childhood, and it really wasn't a swell memory, so I decided to start a new series of videos. I don't know how frequent they'll be, but in these videos I really want to showcase some of the ugliest cartoons that I have ever come across. You know everyone, there are some really bad looking cartoons out there, but it might be either because they had budget constraints or they genuinely wanted to freak the hell out of us. But there are cartoons out there that are just so bad and so ugly that it really does make you wonder how the hell they got past episode 1. There are shows out there that just transcend the plane of ugliness and bring bad animation and horrible character design to a whole new level. Ladies and gents, I present to you Spaced Out.
Crash Industries welcomes you. A gazillion miles of the sky is an orbital state.
Now I know what you're thinking, everyone. I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, "Oh my God, it's a Bad Jetsons ripoff." Well, honestly, you wouldn't really be too wrong on that one. I mean, they did do a promo with Jetsons music in the background, but good luck finding it online since pretty much everything besides 10 episodes are pretty much scrubbed clean from the internet. The only other references to Spaced Out that I can find are a 70s adult comedy where 3 women and a gay computer voice crash land on Earth and abduct 4 people. And of course a 2017 TV movie about a guy making a rocket to Mars. You know, that first one, I'm probably gonna have to watch that one. I'm thinking it might be funny. So Spaced Out was a French-Canadian cartoon co-created by companies such as Fame, Tooncan, and Cartoon Network Europe, and some other companies that aren't even mentioned in the wiki article because they were probably so embarrassed they wanted to jump out the window. So the plot is about a guy called George Martin who applies for a job at Cratch Industries and is made the boss of a secret space station, and the entire running joke of this is that he got hired by complete chance and is apparently too stupid to understand what a space station actually is.
Him say to you, if you want, you live on big ball of green cheese in sky. You understand?
What riveting, amazing humor, am I right everyone? So after all that happens, he ends up moving there with his ugly family, his sticky buns hairdo, circle tool madness, and anorexia. So when they make their trip to the station and they finally settle in, they start going on their amazing adventures, such as the 9 to 5, the stay-at-home housewife, and watching movies about aliens. Very explicit aliens, might I add.
I can't believe you enjoy this nonsense. Look at that latex. You can see the wires. Or else it's a kid wearing a costume.
The characters themselves are very bland and really don't have much going for them, you know, other than their typical one-dimensional sitcom personalities. George is the stereotypical dumb guy. Sticky Buns is the bored housewife that wants to go somewhere, to a place where she doesn't even know where it is, but she just wants to go somewhere because midlife crisis mode, oh my god. Circle Tool is basically afraid of his bully cheese wedge head, and Anorexia just hates the crap out of everything. Later in episode 2, George is woken up by pretty much the ugliest character in the entire show who warns him that something is going to hit the station and he needs to investigate. So George goes to the depths of the station to look for aliens, but instead finds a communist cosmonaut called Boris.
1,000 thanks to whoever put this space station in my path. Why has no one come to greet me?
Who befriends him, and they end up drinking a bootleg Sprite together and having a gay affair. Okay, that didn't happen, but if it did, it would have been funny. And if that wasn't enough, later in the episode we have pretty much the dumbest moment in the whole show. Boris ends up getting caught by Cratch Industries, and in an attempt to persuade them to stay, he ends up saying that he would relinquish his Russian citizenship and devote his life to Cratch Industries.
I would like to apply for refugee status on this station. I will give up my former citizenship and dedicate myself to serving Cratch Industries.
Meaning that he would become a literal corporate slave. Ladies and gentlemen, and I thought the bad character design was the worst thing, you know, oh boy. You know what they say, kids' cartoons, they have the darndest things in them, don't they? And if that wasn't crazy enough, in another episode, George ends up believing that operating technology somehow makes him a god and ends up turning Boris, the ugliest character in the show, and Mrs. Schumann into Buddhists after fooling them into believing that he can walk on water.
You're magnificent, we love you. We love all the things you do. You make sunshine, you make snow. You even walk on H2O.
Oh boy, you really gotta ask yourself, were they honestly on drugs when they made this cartoon? Unfortunately or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, there are some episodes that are unavailable or in a different language. One of them was like pretty much the weirdest in the entire show. That episode, I remember like one clip of it. It was where Circle Tool ends up going to a different dimension where his family doesn't know him, and Anorexia ends up falling in love with him, and he almost literally commits interdimensional incest. And yeah, they put that in a kids show, you know. What were they thinking? Honestly, you fucking make out with your sister, yeah. For kids, you know, for kids. Because why the fuck not, everyone? Why the hell not? And with all this in mind, ladies and gentlemen, you really have to wonder, again, were they high when they made this? Like, I can totally get when a studio has like a low budget and their cartoon doesn't end up looking as good as it should, but this was a co-creation, okay? Multiple companies had a hand in this show, and it turned out like this. Although I do gotta say that the original part of the show was actually pretty interesting, but they just ended up and ruined it because of the boring characters, the stupid random just pull out your ass episode ideas, and that god-awful, horrendous character design, I swear to god. The cartoon only had one season consisting of 25 episodes, and honestly, I'm not surprised it wasn't pulled sooner. So in closing, Spaced Out could have been a pretty decent show, honestly, but because the companies were ran by total idiots and the animation team were a bunch of drunken hobos, they basically made it to be one of the stupidest and by far one of the ugliest cartoons ever. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and press the bell icon, and as always, I am Demon Cringe, and I'll be seeing you guys in the next video.